What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Lake Mead's 33 hole. Let's fish that. Alright guys, so the polar vortex that kind of froze the entire country, luckily that kind of missed us. We didn't get any ice or snow out here in Vegas, but we did get quite a lot of wind. Wind of course makes it rather difficult to film out here in the wild, but I wanted to quickly catch you up on what's been going on out here. I got skunked at Lorenzi Park, got skunked at Hemingway, got skunked at Floyd Lamb Park. So of course, not catching any fish out there does not mean that people aren't catching fish. In fact, the guy that was next to me at Hemingway, we joked about casting into the same area, thinking that we'll both catch the same fish. Unfortunately, he caught a fish, I didn't. Does that mean that he's lucky and I'm not? That might be, but there can also be quite a lot of different factors impacting whether you actually catch something. Say for instance, he was using 6-pound line and I'm using 10-pound line. That can have an influence. The length of your leader, the distance you're away from the lead weight. The fish might see the lead weight and not want to go for your baits. Maybe the size of the hook you're using. There can be all sorts of factors, and that is why I'm out here today. I want to set up 2 rods and test different setups to see whether I can get any fish out there. Over here I have my 2 setups that we're going to be using today. The first one I have here, I have a little store-bought rig on here. It basically has 2 hooks and you can attach your own lead weights on there. The way this works, you have beads up here. You can move the beads around. That just helps you lower or raise your baits in the water column. Like I said, this is a store-bought thing. Going to try that out there with 2 baits to see if we can get any stripers out there using normal anchovies. And on the second one, I have my own homemade little rig out there, the little Carolina rig. The bead up here, the bead we have on this one is of course to stop your lead weight from damaging your knot or breaking the swivel. So 2 different ways to use the beads, and then we're going to put on some anchovies on here as well. The idea is using the 2 rods, seeing if one works better than the other. Of course, I'm going to swap to smaller hooks as well, see if the hooks make a difference. If I'm not getting any fish in this particular area, I'll move around a bit. Not at the point where I'm normally at. I'm a bit closer to where the water runs in, thinking that the murkier water might hide the thick line we have on this setup. The murkier water may hide this line a bit better, so that's why I'm going to start off on this side. Getting some bites, but unless the rod is bending over, it might just be small fish nibbling, so they don't have the hooks. So we'll just wait a while and see whether they actually take the baits. See, it's small fish nibbling out the insides of the little anchovies, so I'm going to just cast it in a bit of a different direction because I don't want the small fish stealing my baits. After the last couple outings where I got skunked, quite exciting to get some bites again. Maybe a bit too eager there on trying to set that hook. Alright guys, I've been getting 1,000,001 hits, just like that. But I think it's small fish nibbling at the baits, or some of the water birds trying to steal my baits. I haven't had any big takes yet. That is why I moved a bit over, not at the point yet, but I'm close to it. Another thing that I did is I removed one of the big hooks on my one rod, putting up a little small hook to see if maybe if it is small fish, perhaps catching one of the smaller ones. Alright guys, sadly I missed the hook set, but we have a fish on. Just want to remove this bell. It's taken me quite a few trips of getting skunked. But there we go, fish landed. A bit bigger striper than the ones I'm used to getting from this location. Let's quickly get him unhooked. Yeah, nice. Skinny little striper. These guys are hungry, willing to go for anything. That's why they go for the anchovies. Nice blue sheen on this one. It's going to be hard to see without some sunlight on it. Lovely little striper. Now people have asked, why don't I keep any of the fish I catch? I actually do keep them. This one, however, is a bit small. Not going to get lots of meat out of this one. So we're going to release this one. Quickly, just get him some oxygen again. On second thought, having not caught any stripers in a while, we don't have any stripers back at home in the fridge, so I'm thinking maybe keeping this one. So I unfortunately didn't bring either a net or my stringer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a makeshift stringer, trying to keep this guy alive, seeing if maybe we can get a second fish that will make it worthwhile keeping this one. Otherwise I'm just going to let this one go. So someone has left some very thick line stuck in the trees and stuff around here. That might actually work for me for making a stringer. Going to take the line, put it through the gills. Alright guys, so obviously that makeshift stringer is damaging the fish's gills, so he's going to die, so we're going to keep him in any case. So we're keeping him in the water, see if we can keep him alive. Let's get out some baits, see if we can get another one. Alright guys, we got a fish on. Second little striper. This one is gut hooked, so we're going to keep him. We now have two fish, so definitely have a fish fry on our hands. Lovely little striper. Let's get him on the stringer. This is why it's important to plan your trip so you don't end up using little makeshift stringers, but this will do. Alright guys, a bit of an update. My makeshift stringer, I messed up on that. I only looped around one fish, not both, meaning that one fish escaped. I now only have the one striper again. Not a big problem. Luckily it was the smaller one that got off. I've been looking around to see if maybe it's washing up somewhere. It doesn't seem that way. I'm not seeing him around anywhere, so I think he's fine. He swam off quite strong. So I only got the one on the stringer now. It's taken about 4 hours to catch these two little stripers, with the one getting away now. I have to try and get another one. Alright, that seemed like a small hit I got, and indeed very small hit. Got our third little striper for today at least. This one is a baby. Alright guys, baby little striper. Going to smaller hooks of course mean that you can get the smaller fish. Now we know at least what's been nibbling at my bait. Let's get this little guy back into the water. Now I know lots of people don't want us to release any stripers because there are too many of them in here. But wouldn't you want this little guy to grow to that size so you can get some meat out of him? That's why I'm releasing these small guys. So next year maybe this will be a bigger nice fish. Let's get him back. And off he goes. And there we go guys, another fish on, and again it's a baby striper. We've now caught 2 fish on each rod, big one on both and a small one on both. So lovely fat little striper. Let's get him back into the water. We're not keeping anything this small, just look at the belly. Lovely little stripes on this guy, lovely sheen on him as well. Get him back into the water. And there he goes. Alright guys, this time we have a big one on again. Nice striper this one. We have our fish fry on again. Not gonna try and lose this one, we're gonna try and keep this one so I can show up with 2 fish at home rather than just one. There we go, nice striper, skinny one again. The small ones are a lot fatter than the big ones, but luckily we're catching fish again. Let's get this guy on the stringer. Alright guys, another little striper showing once again, but for me the afternoons work better. Not a big one, but he has some weight to him. I think he weighs a bit more than the others. Our fourth little decent striper for today. You can see he's hooked in the corner of the mouth. Nice little striper. I think we're also going to keep this one. We're getting to the point where I think we have enough, but I'm still going to keep this one just to make sure. Alright ladies and gentlemen, it has taken 7 hours to catch 6 little stripers. Of course we had 4 decent ones and then 2 small ones. But what have we learned from this? I think first off and most important of all, we have learned that I am not cursed. I can still catch fish. Secondly, filming of cliffs is quite difficult. A lot of the horizons and stuff are going to be all over the place, but at least we got some footage out there. As far as the 2 different rigs that I was using, the store-bought crappie rig versus my homemade Carolina rig. Between the 2, I think they actually fared pretty much the same. I think it would be unfair to call one a winner above the other. Both of them I got hits on, both of them I've caught fish on. The one thing I would like to point out on the crappie rig, I got a 2-ounce lead weight on there. That kind of ties in with why I made my way out here to 33 hole. With that extra bit of weight, I could get extra casting distance out there, and I think that is the key to my success out here today. These fish aren't in shallow. They're not like they did last year when they're up shallow. These fish are in deep. You have to fish around 40 feet worth of water. That's where these fish are holding out. That is why I made my way to 33 hole, fishing off the cliffs. The cliffs continue down into the water, so you don't have to cast out 600 feet to get into deep water. Casting 100 to 300 feet, you'll find some deeper water, and that's where I got these fish. Now that of course does not mean the fish are only at 33 hole. You just need to find a spot at Lake Mead that has access to deep water, so you can find these fish out deep. Lots of carp and shad up shallow jumping around. Don't get distracted by them. You're going to see a lot of activity from fish out there, but be warned, these aren't necessarily stripers. Don't cast to where you see the fish jumping, because that's most likely shad, and you're going to throw your baits into some shad, which won't help you at all. Alright, but I'm very happy to have finally gotten some fish again. If you enjoyed this video, give me a little thumbs up. Feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments down below. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Join my community. Alright guys, we are in the upper 800s with the subscriber base. I want to thank you guys. It's amazing to have gotten this far, but I want to ask you guys to help me out. I want to give you some homework. Please consider telling someone about Finally Fishing, whether it's that nephew of yours you think that likes fishing, or that co-worker that always talks about Lake Mead, or maybe just some random guy next to the fishing waters. Please tell someone about Finally Fishing, and let's see if we can hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. Alright guys, thank you for joining me out here. Thank you for watching, and like always, I'll see you next time.